Well, hello there folks, and welcome back to the Whisky Friend with me, Alan. Yes, it's another new week, and you know what that means, it's another brand new video. And as I've promised, I'm going to do away with the sherry for a bit, and we're going to tackle some smoky peaty whiskies. The expression I've chosen today to do is the EDRADOUR 10-year-old BALLECHIN. It's heavily peated, it's 46% ABV, and it's non-chill filtered, and it's all natural colour, so it ticks all the boxes. So before I get into the whiskey, guys, just a friendly reminder from me to thee: if you're a returning subscriber, then thank you very much and welcome back. If you're maybe popped in for the first time and whiskey's your thing, then you've come to the right place. You may want to consider clicking that subscribe button down below. It's just down there, guys. Maybe click the bell to be kept up to date with future notifications of any videos that I'm putting out. And lastly, just to remember, it doesn't cost you anything, guys. It's all free. So there you go, just hit it down there. Now the housekeeping's done, let's crack on with the whiskey. So, EDRADOUR, beautiful little place. It's just on the outskirts of Pitlochry. It's up there in Perthshire. It was once known as the smallest distillery in Scotland. I think that's just lost that title now to the Strathearn distillery, which so happens to also be in Perthshire, so it's in the same part of the world. Very, very picturesque. It was founded in 1825. Very, very small distillery. It's currently owned by Signatory Vintage, which if you're into your whiskies, you'll know that's independent bottlers. They purchased the distillery in 2000. They've been owners since 2002, and previously to that, it was owned by the Pernod Ricard Group. And very, very interestingly, guys, it's that small. It has two stills. It has one wash still, which has a capacity of 4,200 litres, and one spirit still for 2,200 litres. And the maximum capacity at the distillery is only 95,000 litres, so it's a very, very small production. Meaning by that, I think it's all pretty much craft distilled. It's very, very small distillery, and it's a very, very small output. But as you can see, it's all 46%. It's all naturally coloured. It's all done the right way by Signatory. And just another quick one at the distillery, it's one of those places that has a really, really nice bottle shop in it. So it has all the EDRADOUR expressions available to purchase at the distillery, but it also has a massive range of Signatory vintage bottles. So if you're a fan of those, then it's certainly worth paying a visit to EDRADOUR. Once again, the prices are all pretty much really, really realistic. Again, one of the places you think it's more expensive to buy a bottle of whiskey is at the distillery. This one is great for its prices. So enough about the distillery. I'm going to just crack on. I'm going to give you a nose, I'm going to give you a taste, and I'm going to give you the finish, and at the end I'm going to give it a score at the end. So if you can manage to stay to the end, guys, I've got some news about the channel again, so that'll be worthwhile. If you can certainly hold on for that, I've got a little bit of news, just a little update really. So again, the whiskey. So this EDRADOUR, I've had to put the little topper on this because the studio is just oozing with peat. Don't know if I can't remember if I said earlier, but this is heavily peated EDRADOUR BALLECHIN, 10-year-old. So on the nose, wow, it's just that, it's unmistakably peat. It's intense peat. This is done, I'm pretty sure it's 50 parts per million with this, so it's not up there with a real peaty one like the Octomores. This is it's still heavily peated. I think the average peated is 20 parts per million. So this is still up there at 50, but it's very, very peaty. It's that peat smoke again. It's very ashy. But again, once you get past the peat, it's barley sugar sweet, so it's very, very sweet. Lovely, lovely. Yeah, it is heavily, but that smoke, it's like a bonfire in the distance. It's maybe like a fire that's that was a bonfire and it's maybe a couple of days old. It's that kind of smoke. Wow. And it's fruity. I know guys, I think there's a little finish of tiny little bit of sherry in this. That's where I think the fruit's coming from. So it's a little bit peachy, apricot. The ash is, everything's around the ash is holding it all together. But I'm picking up a little bit of citrus, maybe some lemon, lime, could even be grapefruit. In fact, I'm going to stop saying guys, I'm going to say folks now, because I've noticed a few of my subscribers now seem to be ladies. So I'm going to stop calling you guys now. So I'm going to call you folks, so that way I'm not offending any ladies who are watching. It's beautifully balanced between the fruit and the smoke and the citrus. Just picking up some vanilla now. I think these are coming predominantly from bourbon casks as well, so there's a little bit of vanilla coming through there now. And there's a really nice wood note, some nice oak, and a little bit of wood tannins. So all in all, this is a beautifully balanced, it's a very nice whiskey for a peat. That peaty aroma, it's heavily peated, but with the balance of the fruit and the peat, it's working beautifully together. So it's a real nice nose. I think EDRADOUR have done a fantastic job with this nose. So now that I've done the nose, let's crack on with the palate. Slanch. Okay folks, on that first initial sip, it's quite oily, it's quite silky, and it's sweet. Barley sugars are definitely there. It's intense. There's a little bit of nip, some spice there, and then the peat. There's a peat smoke blast as it goes into the development. It just blasts of peat smoke, but the fruit's not far behind it. It's assertive, this whiskey. I think the 10 years, it's still quite a young spirit, so it's still quite assertive. The cask is not really taking control of this yet. It's dry, so it's got a real dry note. I think that's the ashy peaty note that's doing that, is drying it out. But this is all about the peat, guys. It is heavily peated with that little mix of fruit going through. But as you get into the development, it's smooth, it's sweet. I'm picking up some vanilla. Real nice. Let me just try some more. Nice this. Okay folks, yeah, it's the sweetness. There's vanilla. That hit a little bit of spice there. I think it's ginger. There's just a nice little spice note coming through there as it's gone through the development and heading to the finish. For a 10-year-old, guys, this is really complex for a 10-year-old. You can tell this is coming from a craft distillery who really know what they're putting out. Everyone keeps, in my comments, they keep mentioning, one of the brands that keeps coming up all the time is people keep asking me for EDRADOUR. So hence this is a little reason why I've started this peaty one with the EDRADOUR. EDRADOUR's not predominantly known for peat. I think there's a lot of sherry and a lot of bourbon casks, but I think a certain time of the years they put out this BALLECHIN, which is really nice. It's very complex, it's beautifully balanced. Just now that the ash is all the way through it, the peat's all the way through, and the fruit is coming in and out. Those peaches, those apricots, the citrus is definitely in there as well. And there's a beautiful oak, some wood tannins in there as well, which are really nice. But let me just crack on a little bit, guys. I'm going to just head into the finish now. Sorry, did I say guys there? Sorry folks, I'm going to head into the finish now. Okay folks, in the finish is ashy, it's dry, it's oaky. So all those dry things are all coming from the ash, the peat, the wood, and then there's a little bit of fruit and a little bit of citrus just lingering around in it. The finish is probably medium, yeah, medium to long. I think the peat lets it hang around a little bit longer. So all in all, this is a super whiskey. If you've tried the EDRADOUR BALLECHIN, please drop me a comment down below, let me know how you've got on with it. I'm not too sure how easy it is to get a hold of. I know in the UK it's pretty much easy to get a hold, but I'm not sure what it's like in other territories, what it's like in the US, what it's like out in Europe. So, but I know in the UK it's pretty much available to get a hold of here. I haven't quite checked out the price of it, which is maybe a little mistake on my part. But all in all, I don't think it's super expensive. It's 10 years after all. So it's, again, it's super whiskey. The mark I'm going to give this one as a peaty one, I'm going to give this a 87 out of 100. Quite nice for a start to peat. So hopefully, you'll probably notice the wall's changed. I've done away with the sherry. I've got no sherry on the wall at the minute, so I've got it all with smoky, peaty whiskies. In actual fact, when I actually went to do this, I didn't realise actually how much smoky peaty whiskies that I did actually have. So hopefully the wall looks great. I'm going to try and tackle a few of these as we go on. So the mark, 87 out of 100. Great little whiskey. If you get a chance to try it, I'd recommend having a go at it. Maybe it's an intermediate whiskey, maybe not for beginners, but maybe for intermediate whiskey drinkers or established malt heads, then yeah, I think it's great. Okay. News on the channel, folks. Later this week, the Whisky Friend channel becomes a year old. So I've actually went through my first year. I think this is going to be my 81st review, I think, possibly. Maybe 80, 81, 82, I'm not too sure which one it is now. But it's coming up to the 80s anyway. So what I looked back at some of my earlier videos, and my very first video up until a couple of weeks ago was my #1 watched video. And when I watch it myself, it's actually quite cringeworthy because it could show my inexperience. Hopefully the channel's moved on a little bit from then, it's got a little bit more professional, the lighting's better, the camera's better. But in that very first video, I shot it in my dining room. I had the camera the wrong way around. I looked as if I was depressed. So what I'm going to do over the next, maybe not this next couple of videos, but maybe the back end of next week, so maybe a couple of videos, 2-3 videos later, I'm going to redo that first video that I had, but I'm going to do it a year on. So I think it was the top 5 go-to whiskies. So I'm going to redo the top 5 go-to whiskies with me a year later. So let's just see how my go-to whiskies, is the 5 go-tos still the same? Has there new whiskies come into that, and some of the other ones have gone out? So hopefully that's going to be quite interesting. So I'm going to redo some of the earlier videos. I think I had a top 5 go-to, top 10 affordables whiskies. So I'm going to redo a couple of them, just a year on. So hopefully you'll look forward to seeing them, and hopefully you can catch me up later. But until the next time, just remember one thing, as I always say, the pleasure is in the sharing. So see you soon. Thank you very much. See you folks. Thank you. Bye bye.